John Doe! Wait, really? John Doe? Oh, that's right. The grandfather film to the Saw franchise features yet another John. That's okay. Much like Jigsaw, this John is also a creative little constructor with a creepy cast of contraptuous convictions. But can he credit his corpulent coin purse? Hello, and welcome to Foot the Bill, where we audit your favorite media. My name is Trey, and today we're taking a look at Se7en, or Se7en, or that movie What with the Box and What's in It.
What's in the box?
This film did a lot to redefine crime and thriller pieces in the 90s and the aughts, and its influences can still be felt in movies 30 years hence. And what an influence! Mr. Anonymous over there put the thumb screws to this equally anonymous metropolis for a week of terror, each victim inspired by the 7 deadly sins. You know what isn't a sin? Accounting! But first, the rules.
Listen carefully, if you will. There are rules. Why? It's the rules.
No utilities get charged for. All prices are calculated in the year depicted on screen. Se7en is a bit ambiguous about time and place, but based on technology being used, it's safe to say it takes place in the year filmed. 1995. Don't go chasing waterfalls, even if it's raining like crazy outside all the time. Any items that could realistically be scavenged from their respected locations won't be charged for. This is a tricky one because John goes to a lot of different locations to set up his sinful dioramas. So, does this suspicious sociopath of sinful, sycophantic self-indulgence survive his slippery saving sufferings? Or does John Doe become John Det as he descends into devilish misdeeds of death, debauchery, and depraved depths of deciduous degeneracy? Let's find out. The movie begins on a Sunday. It's Sunday, where our main characters are introduced to each other. Detective William Somerset, that's Will, has just met his new partner, Detective David Mills, that's Dave. Will is a week out from retirement, while Dave is a cocky tryhard. I'm sure these two will become real close. Monday, that's Monday now, rolls around and the two have a new case. A dead guy. I'm no detective, but my prognosis is death by dying.
Detective Mills, would you go help the officers question the neighbors?
Wrong prognosis? Damn. The victim's name is unknown, and Will believes this to be murder. The barbed wire around the victim's ankles kinda confirms that. I count, what is that, 22 cans of pasta sauce? Delicious. Our little Italian restaurant also needs pasta noodles. Now, we don't see how many noodles were purchased or eaten, but we can approximate based on the number of sauces scattered around the room and some good old pathology. Apparently, a human stomach approaches bursting at around 5 liters full, and can potentially stretch to 12 liters before completely failing. Yikes. Turning 22 cans of pasta sauce with an equivalent amount of pasta noodles, plus the Chinese takeout on the table and the extra cans of sauce on the floor, into liters and liters of stomach contents, yeah, methinks this is deadly. And cheap! 2 receipts found at the scene tell us our little chef went back for seconds at the store to ensure his little meatball was properly sated. And sated he was. So sated, he ate the pasta, the takeout, and these weird tack things. Will heads back to the scene of the dine and locates the source of those tacks. A secret message behind the fridge confirms his suspicions. This victim was gluttony, the first of 7 deadly sins. Oh, we've got a serial killer on our hands. Tuesday comes around and we've got a new sin to account for: greed. Our victim, Eli Gould, was a lead defense attorney in town. Evidently, Eli was forced to remove a pound of flesh and place it onto the scales in front of him. Such a big statement leaves us with many unanswered questions. How'd the killer get in? How'd the killer get out? Why did he paint glasses on the wife's photo? How much did all of this cost? Well, there's a good chance it didn't cost a thing. You see, greed was contained in his own office. All the materials are from said office, minus the butcher's knife used to commit this moral experiment. And what's the source of the knife? I reckon, in a pinch, it could be sourced from Gluttony's kitchen. But barring any evidence of that actually happening, we can charge $4 for a decent enough blade. Cheap, poetic, and most importantly, cheap. It's Wednesday, my dudes, and our gluttonous victim gave Dave an appetite. He decides to invite Will over for dinner. Oh, he's shy though, so he has his wife do it for him. Tracy, that's Tracy, hates this city, but loves her husband, and their 3 dogs, and their built-in massager.
Subway. It'll go away in a minute.
It's not.
Oh,
All right, laugh it up.
she's gonna lose her head when she finds out about the pet deposit, though. Detectives Do and Little get a clue and talk to Greed's incredibly distraught wife, trying to get her perspective on things. Everything seems in order. Bloodstains, Shakespearean justice. But what's this? That painting is upside down! A light dusting reveals a twisted turn and another secret message for the Hardy Boys. A finger painting that says, "Help me." The fingerprints will take some time to process, so our busy boys have themselves a busy little nap. One sleep later, and it's Thursday. The identity of the fingers has been found. Theodore Allen! Bad news, he's a piece of work. Good news, he has an address. The fuzz is hot and on the hunt, bursting down doors and starting the raid. Man, that's a lot of air fresheners. Huh, well, whatever. I'm sure this sick bastard is a literal sick bastard. Ooh, dear. Yeah, turns out Ted is not our sinful John, but in fact, our third victim. Sloth! Ew. A new victim means we have a lot to charge for. Let's see. I counted about 100 air fresheners in this first room, another 100 in the next room and around our lazy boy. Our little bed rotter has been placed into essentially a medically induced coma because, yeah, that dude isn't dead. He's been kept alive, nutrient fed, even given antibiotics to make sure the bed sores don't become infected. How kind. Less kind is the loss of hand that gave us the fingerprints to lead Will and Dave here. Sorry, lads. How much does it cost to be bedridden and comatose for a year? Why, I'll tell you. Most of my research on this led down a rabbit hole that ended in no doctor would ever do that. Stop asking to be put to sleep until the Nintendo Wii comes out.
And no matter what happens, Butters, you are not to unfreeze me until the day Nintendo Wii comes out. You got it!
Eric, are you sure this is a good idea?
No, it's not a good idea. It's an awesome idea.
But I was able to do some rough approximation based on what he would need. He'd need nutrients, he'd need IV bags, and he'd need antibiotics, and he'd need to be monitored. But he doesn't need a hospital bed, clearly. He doesn't need to be cleaned, extra clearly. And he doesn't need to be kept comfortable. Quite the opposite, in fact. All in all, a year of bedriddance will run you around $16,000 in fluids, meds, and the bare necessities. What's more distressing, believe it or not, is the rent. You see, the film never specifies what city it takes place in, but based on context clues, it seems to be New York City or some equivalent. At the very least, it's larger than New York City was in the 1990s. Great start. Now, some good news. Rent in a New York equivalent city in 1995 was cheap, dirt cheap. According to this article, an apartment like the one we might have seen is around $664 a month. Not terrible. We're told the tenant paid cash every month. And we discover from these selfies that Sloth has been chilling for a year, so we're looking at approximately $7,968. Are you paying rent? Because I'm paying rent, and I'm not paying $8,000 a year for rent. I wish I were paying $8,000 a year for rent. Out in the hall, the paparazzi are getting spicy. Check it out, Dave. You're famous.
You, I got your picture, man. Oh, yeah? I got your picture. Oh, yeah?
Haha, neat! Will and Dave spend all day thinking up some kind of angle on this guy. Oh, look, Dave tried to read good. Go, Dave! Will figures out that maybe the killer is a nerd who likes books or something, and calls his guy at the FBI to use his secret database of books people check out from the library. The government keeping a database of all the things you research? That's ridiculous. Also, Happy New Year to my FBI agent Greg. Hi, Greg! It's never what it looks like. 45 minutes and a haircut later, Greg the FBI agent has the results. There are several nerds interested in the 7 deadly sins, and one of them has a silly name.
Jonathan Doe.
Whatever.
That silly name owns an apartment as well. Unlike Dave's apartment, which is often a rockin', this domicile is silent and thus primed for a knockin'. The tenant spots the fuzz, however, and quickly gets to glockin'. Sick 'em, Dave! Dave starts Assassin's Creeding all over the joint, the two in a heated chase, while Will circumnavigates the entire block. Eventually, John Doe gets the jump on Dave and clocks him in the rain, pressing his Taurus PT-99AF into Dave's skull. And yet, he leaves him alive. Beaten to hell, but very alive. Damn, They got the right guy. He was right there. Oh, now they have to wait for a warrant to raid his... Nope, never mind, they kicked in the door. And they paid a crackhead to make a false report. Bye-bye books. This apartment is complex. It looks like our John Doe is a bit of a hoarder, which makes our job all the more difficult. How much of this is for living and how much of this is part of the ritual of hunting people down and murdering them sinfully? Well, let's break it down. In a drawer next to John's bed, we get a great look at the Polaroid SX70 that was used to take photos of Sloth. Now, that was a pretty significant stack of selfies back there, so we can charge for the camera and a nice hunk of film. Elsewhere in the room, we've got some interesting cabinets. It looks like John is indeed a serial killer. After all, what serial killer would be complete without trophies? There's 12 more cans of pasta sauce in the first cabinet, charge for that. Greed's box is mostly self-congratulatory, some bloody books and a newspaper cutout, though we do get a wider look at the cabinets from here. They might have some custom hardware built into them. I couldn't immediately source an origin for them, but I'll charge an approximate for all the ones that we see just in case. Sloth's is Sloth's hand, gross, but then we have something new. A receipt from Wild Bill's leather shop to one Jonathan Doe for $502.62. Interesting. Bill it! We don't get a look at any future trophy boxes because our attention is pulled elsewhere. Dave discovers the bathroom, or rather the dark room, and comes to the chilling conclusion that the paparazzo from earlier was their suspect. He's had them pegged the whole time, watching the two detectives flail about the city. Which reminds me, we need to include the price of that very nice camera that snapped Sherlock and Watson's wistful visages, as well as this ad hoc photo lab. With CSI sweeping the suite, it's revealed that this whole apartment is fueled by cash. No pay stubs, no licenses. A box of cash under the bed reveals one of John's saving accounts. Weirdly, no fingerprints anywhere. This guy work for the Men in Black? Will's found the more interesting treasure trove, however. A veritable library of psychosis. According to behind-the-scenes trivia, designers Clive Piercy and John Sable handcrafted the 2,000 notebooks across all these shelves in this little library. Luckily for us, this trivia also tells us how much this whole endeavor cost. $15,000. Looking into this deeper, this cost can't be accounted for the notebooks alone, but re-examining the notebooks, we see that they're stitched together, marked up across every page, contain Xeroxed parts. Some of them are even taped back together. If we include the material costs into this notebook calculation, I think 15 grand is a fair price to bill. Hang on, what's that sound? Is that a phone ringing? A phone call? In this economy? The call is for Dave. Surprise, it's John. He's gonna be shifting the schedule. Ooh, and there's another surprise. Bye, John. Well, at least he apologized. It's now Saturday. Will and Dave are giving Wild Bill the shakedown for this mysterious leather purchase. What are we talking here? Harness? Mask? Oh, they found Lust. Oh. Ooh. Ha. Back at the station, Lust's survivor is surviving. He was forced to, well, yeah. So that's what Wild Bill put together. Hey caramba. Without much more to go on, Will and Dave break for lunch. Liquid sandwiches! It's now Sunday, and a call is coming in. Oh hey, it's John! Oh hey, it's Pride. Ooh, poor girl. It looks like he glued sleeping pills to one hand, a phone to the other, and then mutilated her face by cutting her nose off. She could call 911 and survive, disfigured, or take the pills and die, disfigured. Also, who keeps a self-portrait of in their house? What? Oh, right, Pride, right. Back at the station, Will tells Dave he's gonna forestall his retirement for a few days. Dave tries to give him the clear, but hey, this case is pretty interesting. After all, what are the odds John will just walk into the...
You're looking for me.
John Doe, asshole, has just walked into the precinct. Turns out, John has no fingerprints or credit history. His bank account is only 5 years old, which was apparently started with cash. And actually, let's hold on there for a second. I have a theory. If John's bank account is only 5 years old, and he's clearly been planning his religious scavenger hunt for at least a year, I would hearken to say that his apartment, which was also paid for in cash, was purposefully ascertained for this art project. Knowing this, I'm going to charge for 5 years of his apartment. Same rate as Sloth's apartment. I'm also going to charge for the big neon cross because, come on. I will also be charging for the carpentry kit because I'm pretty sure he used some of those tools from that on Pride. I know it's a religious allegory, what with Jesus being a carpenter, although that's a misnomer. Jesus was more likely to be a stonemason. You see, Mark 6:3 identifies Jesus as a carpenter, but that's a translation issue. The Greek word more accurately translates to craftsman. And if he's a builder of homes, then he's most likely a stonemason, but anyway. John's meeting with his lawyer, and it's revealed that he's highly educated, independently wealthy, and clearly insane. He's also working on an insanity plea deal. But what's this? There's 2 more sins to be found. John offers to take Will and Dave there, reveal the bodies, plead guilty, bada boom. If they don't want to take the field trip, well, he'll plead insane and be locked up. The final 2 bodies forever obscured to history. Could it be a ruse? Well, Crime Lab says the blood on John is from himself, Pride, and an as yet unidentified 3rd person. Yeah, I get the feeling this guy wouldn't lie. Will and Dave get prepped and wired for the inevitable road trip with that one overly religious cousin. Ugh. Predictably, the drive is long and insufferable, but we do get a nice peek at some details about the city we're leaving. Population of 8.3 million, an elevation of 99 feet above sea level, and it was incorporated in 1926? I did some digging to see if this could narrow down our list of cities. It did not, but I did discover that the German expressionist film Faust was released in 1926. It's a film about a highly intelligent man selling his soul to the devil for power, immortality, and recognition. I think, if you'll permit me, that John Doe is Faust. I think he sold his soul to the devil in pursuit of what he thought was godliness. Now, that's a different video altogether, and you should go watch more classic films, but hey, maybe I'll even see if Nosferatu can foot the bill. Back on the road, John is giving Will and Dave the philosophical runaround. John argues that terror is the only way to get people's attention. Dave counters that in 2 months, everything will be forgotten. Will, however, spies a contradiction in John's philosophy. If John were chosen by God to reveal humanity's sins, why did he seem to enjoy it? John dodges the question, arguing that no one is innocent in this, but also that this is all part of his plan.
Realize, Detective, the only reason that I'm here right now is that I wanted to be. You're only alive because I didn't kill you.
Okay, sit back.
The 3 arrive at the designated spot, a seemingly abandoned property miles from the city. Dave leads John from the car, and John leads them forward into the field. In the distance, a courier van begins to approach at speed. Will moves to intercept it while John is put to his knees.
It's good we have some time to talk.
Will stops the van, demanding the driver to get out. It's a courier service delivering a package. It's a package for Dave.
This guy paid me $500 to bring it out here, man. He said he wanted it here at exactly 7 o'clock.
Oh, how convenient, thank you. Will retrieves the package marked fragile, sending the driver north on foot. Will contemplates breaking federal law by opening someone else's mail before opting to open the box and become a felon.
When I said I admired you, I meant what I said.
The box is splattered with blood, a lot of blood. Will is shaken, horrified.
I'm trying to tell you how much I admire you and your pretty wife.
John admits to bribing a police officer for information regarding Dave and his wife Tracy. He admits to visiting Dave's home, trying to play husband to taste Dave's wife. Failing that objective,
I took a souvenir. Her pretty head.
oh, David Mills oscillates between anger and heartbreak, struggling with the reality of this final test. Finally, he releases his wrath upon John Doe, ending his life. Dave walks through the gates of hell into a new unknown.
We'll take care of him.
Whatever he needs.
Where are you gonna be?
Around.
The movie ends, and we are left wondering, how much did John Doe spend on his Sunday school lesson plan? Did his tithings build a new steeple to his philosophical church? Or did he blow his stack on an otherwise agnostic gesture? Let's find out. In total, John Doe spent approximately $84,874.53. Adjusting for inflation, that's around $175,704.20. You know, that's about how much megachurch pastor Joel Osteen makes every single day. That's right, every single day. Just gonna stew on that for a bit. John's cheapest sin was, ironically, greed at potentially $0, but maybe around $4. John's most expensive sin, meanwhile, was sloth at a whopping $24,499.16. With all said and done, can John foot the bill for Se7en? Well, aside from being told explicitly that he's independently wealthy, this bill isn't even necessarily that high. Almost 85 grand, most of which went to rent. Not a bill, it's just living. Clean, honest, godly living. Well, what do you think? Do you think John made a deal with the devil? Or do you think he had a point to it all? Imagine being the guy who recognized John Doe from math class. Time changes us all. I want to thank my wife for editing this video, and the community for suggesting this film to us. This was indeed a perfect fit, and felt like the right kind of project to ring in the new year. Huge thank you to all our YouTube and Patreon members. Your support means the world to us. The past year has been insane, in the good way, not the John Doe way, and we love making videos for you, even when they are quagmired in the swamp of copyright nonsense. Extra special shout out to Athena GV, Sinks S, Axolotl, and Dadhawk for becoming members of the Feet tier. No feet pics with this tier yet, but you do get to hear me say your internet name in a video. Again, thank you so much, everyone. Hopefully Scream 2 or 3 is out by now, and if not, well, it's available on the Patreon for free. Seriously, cannot figure out what more they want from us. Just let us bill the ghost! Speaking of, we've got Ghostbusters coming down the pipeline, as well as the Saw video games, The Game, More Level With Me, we're gonna be streaming until dawn at some point, I'm gonna be reading fan fiction for the Discord, and so much more. So be sure you're subscribed and ring-a-ling the ding-a-ling to know when new stuff is coming out. Because remember, I'm here to make stuff, if you're here to watch. Thanks.